Everyone right now is trying to heal their nervous system. Somatic exercises, polyvagal breathing, regulate, don't suppress, vagus nerve hacks, all of it. And most of it isn't wrong, but it's incomplete. And I can tell you exactly why it keeps not sticking. If the heart doesn't change, the nervous system doesn't change. If the nervous system doesn't change, the self doesn't change. And your life stays exactly the same no matter how many breathing techniques you learn. You cannot regulate a nervous system that's being run by a heart that hasn't been dealt with. Years ago, before I had any language for what a quantum leap even was, here's where I actually was, right? I was sick of nothing changing. I could change jobs and end up dealing with the same personality at the new one. I could meet someone brand new and watch it end exactly the way the last one ended. I could make new friends and find the same exact issues with them that I had with the last friend. At some point, that stopped looking like bad luck. It started looking like a mirror. Everything around me was reflecting something back at me before I even had a word for it. This next part, not everyone is going to relate to, but it's the truth, and I'm giving it to you anyway. I started a heart purification journey by the grace of God before I even understood what I was doing. Science is only now catching up to what ancient traditions and teachings have known for thousands of years, and I'll say it plainly, in the coming years, this is going to be the next major thing. It's called Tazkiyah. For me, it started with one name of God. I would repeat it at every insecure moment, every time I felt anxious, every time I needed confidence or guidance. My heart would turn toward that name sincerely, and then I would actually listen out of sheer desperation to what came forward. That listening is what made all the difference. Now, I'm not going to tell you God handed me a 5-step system because that's not what happened, and I won't sell you that. What I received was an internal understanding I cannot fully teach you, and neither can anyone else. That part is between you and God. But that understanding is what let me catch a decision or a behavior that would have taken me backwards in its tracks before I acted on it. Here's how you know the heart hasn't moved yet, even when everything else around you has. The pattern doesn't change, only the packaging does. New job, same personality showing up. New relationship, same ending. New friendship, same issue. That repetition isn't bad luck, it's the mirror. Whatever hasn't been dealt with in the heart keeps getting reflected back at you through different people and different rooms until it's dealt with. Now, here's the order things actually happening underneath the surface. The heart moves first, before you feel anxious, before your body reacts, before the thought even forms into words, okay? It's this subtle. Something in the heart would have already turned toward or away from something. That's the qalb. It's the part of you making the real decision, usually before you're conscious of it. The nafs is what executes that decision and then justifies it to you. It's the voice that turns, I'm scared of being vulnerable, into, I'm just someone who doesn't need people. It turns avoidance into a personality trait. It's not your enemy. It's just uneducated. It hasn't been trained. The nervous system is downstream of both. It's the body's honest report of what the heart and the nafs already decided, which is exactly why you can regulate the nervous system all day and the underlying pattern doesn't move. You're managing the symptom while the actual decision maker, the heart, keeps making the same call it's always made. Think about the last time you knew. You really knew a thought or behavior wasn't serving you and you did it anyway. That's not a willpower problem. That's not a nervous system problem. That's the nafs winning an argument the heart hasn't been trained to have. This is why the people who do the most self-work and still feel stuck aren't lacking information. They're skipping the layer underneath the layer that they're working on. So here's what to actually do starting today. Not a formula, because I'm not going to hand you one. Pick one name of God, not 5, 1 for now. The next time you feel insecure, anxious, or like you need confidence or guidance that you don't have, stop and turn your heart toward that name sincerely. Not just say the words, turn toward it. And no, you don't need to change your outfit, look a certain way, or dress a certain way to do this. God isn't looking at your clothes, He's looking at your heart. Make it sincere and bring that to the practice. That's the only entry requirement there is. Then do the harder part. Listen. Don't rush to the next task. Sit for a moment with whatever rises after that. I can't tell you what you'll receive. That part isn't mine to give. But I can tell you this is the actual mechanism, not a nervous system hack, not a mindset shift you talk yourself into. A heart that keeps turning back to its source, honestly, until it starts recognizing its own nafs before the nafs makes the decision for you. If the heart doesn't change, the nervous system doesn't change. The self doesn't change, and life stays the same. That was true for me for years, doing everything except this. Science is only just catching up to what this tradition has known for centuries. In the next few years, Tazkiyah is going to be everywhere. I'd rather you hear it now from someone who's actually lived it than years from now repackaged by someone who hasn't. This is the actual work and Rashid walks me through daily now, recognizing the nafs before it makes the decision for me again. I built it because I needed it to exist, not the other way around. But you don't need the app to start. You need one name and the willingness to actually listen after you say it. Do that first.